What's going on, guys? Kevin Cage here with another crypto update. You better stick around for today's video, guys, and I hope you enjoy it. We're going to dive into a bunch, including Ripple the company's past valuations, and speculation on Ripple's valuation today, and why I believe that XRP's price heavily influences market perception. Alright, so first up, I posted this chart yesterday looking at Bitcoin in the last 3 bull runs and all the 4 Bitcoin halvings we've seen in history. So these purple boxes are 18 months after the Bitcoin halving. So starting at the Bitcoin halving, these purple circles marked with these black vertical lines. I tried to get it to be the exact day, but this is on the weekly time frame. So you can see right here the actual dates in 2012 was November 28th. This is on the 26th. So it's pretty damn close. And just looking at the big picture, after the Bitcoin halving date, approximately 18 months later or 78 weeks, we can see the price appreciation for Bitcoin. So here we actually went up and topped out sooner than that. During this cycle, in 2017, the bull run, we topped right around that 18-month period. And then the last cycle, in 2020, we kicked off, ended up doing one more higher high right around 18 months. So looking at Bitcoin today, we actually broke into a new all-time high price, the first time in history before the Bitcoin halving that we had in April of last year, so almost 12 months. So we are absolutely within the window. Believe whatever you want, but this is one of the many reasons why I believe that we have a much bigger bull run ahead. So this is not financial advice, but we know in the crypto space that patience is the name of the game. Looking at Bitcoin today, yesterday we did actually close, or 2 days ago, we closed our monthly candle body still above the 8-month EMA, this orange moving average. And in the meantime, Bitcoin dominance is still climbing yet to crash. Now last cycle we did a 618 retracement, crashed right around the time that Bitcoin did its first major move. This cycle we have gone just above a 618 Fibonacci retracement, so we have not found our official top yet. And we're going to absolutely know in the future when this does happen because the large crashes for Bitcoin dominance as Bitcoin is going up have been the last 2 alt seasons, and we're in another setup. And super quick, for anybody that didn't watch past videos, we know that the 2017 alt season retraced up to a 618 Fibonacci retracement, then we crashed. For this cycle, we actually crash, retrace up to the 618, right around the time when Bitcoin did its first major move, and we didn't get the alt season because Bitcoin dominance is continuing to climb. So we're almost 63%, we are not at our top yet, but I hope that we're getting closer and closer each day. Now when I remove this, we can see this was a perfect 618 Fibonacci retracement. Now even if I change the swing high a bit, let me clean this chart up, and go from here to here, we still retrace up to a 618 right there, so I'm just using either of those swing highs. It doesn't really matter or change the chart too much. So looking at Bitcoin dominance, what do we see? We've retraced higher than what we did last cycle. We are surpassing the 618, approaching the 702. Where do we top out at? Looking at monthly RSI, this momentum is the highest it's ever been in history, taking out that previous high right now. So when this momentum is very high, it looks like Bitcoin dominance climbs higher. However, I can still hope that this is going to be a double top by the end of this month and we actually crash sooner. If we do break through this level, Bitcoin dominance climbs. And the point being is I strongly believe that this leads to another crash, another alt season. I'll keep guessing on when, but the structure exists. Alright, a couple more things before we dive into Ripple the company and XRP. So the point of this is just highlighting price appreciation for Bitcoin up to 18 months after each Bitcoin halving. This was right on the dot, this was right on the dot, and this was early. Is this structure going to be similar, or is it going to be longer or shorter? We don't know. There are so many considerations with M2 and how it climbs. There's considerations with Trump and geopolitical tensions and the tariff news, and still a lot of exciting potential catalysts with the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve. But in the meantime, Bitcoin right now is still heavily correlated to a lot of major indices that we've shared before during this recent pullback, whereas gold is actually climbing. And when we look at Bitcoin from the previous cycle top up until the next cycle top and measuring that ROI from there to there and then there up until the next peak, we are seeing diminishing returns. So the question is, do we continue to see diminishing returns for Bitcoin? That would make sense. It appears to be illogical, but sometimes markets are irrational. And just loosely measuring from previous cycle tops right there up until the top and then going to the next cycle in 2017 around that top and loosely measuring up until the next cycle top for Bitcoin, that's right around, we'll say 250%. So basically going from the previous cycle top, anything under that 250% is still diminishing returns for Bitcoin, around 240,000. So does Bitcoin break over that level? It's possible, but anything below that would still be diminishing returns. So that's my basic look of Bitcoin on the monthly time frame looking at all the past cycles. So we are still above the 8-month EMA, which is very important when we're at new all-time highs, as you can see with candle bodies. So it doesn't mean the bottom is in yet. Be mindful of any flash wicks like July 2013 or what we saw back in August 2024. And looking at monthly RSI, we can see we've yet to break past that 76 level. Where Bitcoin has historically ran the most is over 80 during all past cycles. So we are starting to curl up right there. So we still have many months in this year left. Now, for anybody watching that has already experienced an alt season or multiple bull runs before, you already know. And for those that have been here for years waiting for another alt season and yet to experience another alt season, when it comes to investing, you only have to be right once. Now, the real OGs in the space have been around since 2012 or before that, 2013, 2014, but since my experience in 2017 living and breathing this, I've seen a lot of people throughout the cycles and periods of emotion give up and leave, usually very close to the start of another cycle. And at least historically, looking at Bitcoin when the market is in very boring periods or after some of the biggest flash crashes, they have always led to some of the biggest market moves. During periods of FUD, bad news left and right, black swans, and illiquidity, it always returns. Alright, next up, related to Ripple the company and Coinbase. So back in 2020, this is a Forbes article valuing Coinbase at approximately $8.1 billion and Ripple the company at $10 billion. Now, back in January 2024, with Ripple to buy back the $285 million of its shares, valuing the company at approximately $11 billion. So that was over a year ago. Now, this is speculation, so please keep that in mind, but at that time, during this valuation of $11 billion, XRP was really between like 55 to 60 cents. So years ago, Ripple the company was valued higher than Coinbase, but then Coinbase the company went public, and today its market cap is roughly $44 billion. Now stick with me here because we're going to go over additional info, but XRP last year in January was 55 to 60 cents. Today it is over $2, so up roughly 3 to 4x. Now when we take a look at the most recent Q4 2024 XRP markets report and scroll all the way down to the bottom, we can see the XRP numbers down below. So we have right here December 31st as of Q4, the total XRP held by Ripple was $4.48 billion, or 4.49. And for total XRP subject to on-ledger escrow, that is 38 billion XRP. And we should be getting the new Q1 2025 XRP markets report hopefully by the end of May. So going back to this, we have over 4 billion XRP held by Ripple and 38 billion XRP in escrow. Now, it's important to remember that these XRP holdings are not counted as assets on Ripple's balance sheet. Otherwise, people would be considering these valuations for XRP held by Ripple or even the XRP held in escrow, multiplying this by XRP's price. That is billions of dollars, but that would not be accurate for Ripple the company's valuation. However, I argue the value of their XRP holdings definitely influences market perception of the company Ripple. We know they've been going on a tear in terms of just acquisitions, partnerships. We have the Ripple US dollar. We have all types of monetary or money transmitter licenses, these MTLs. We have Ripple custody, on, and XRP's price is up 3 to 4x since that $11 billion valuation. So the real question is, how should the market value the company Ripple today? And one of the biggest things is knowing that Coinbase's market cap is over $40 billion and they are public, what would happen to Ripple the company if they go public? Alright, next up, super quick here, and this should be well known, but a lot of people forget the big picture of BlackRock and Vanguard. So Vanguard is one of the biggest companies in the world. They have a financial stake in mainstream media. They're said to basically control the world. Now we know BlackRock with their Bitcoin SPY ETF, they have made millions of dollars in fees. We have Larry Fink of BlackRock promoting the future of tokenization, crypto, integrating with TradFi, etc. However, Vanguard never really speaks highly of crypto. If anything, they say that they don't believe that crypto belongs in an investor's portfolio. However, their financial stake says otherwise. So if you go right to Yahoo Finance, you go and look at different companies, and you go to holders, we can see that Vanguard is one of the biggest holders of Coinbase, at least a financial stake. And we can see the same thing with a bunch of organizations. So obviously BlackRock, one of the biggest. We can go to MicroStrategy right there. We have Vanguard up top. And a bunch of recognizable names. So besides BlackRock, we have UBS Group, Morgan Stanley, State Street. And there are a variety of companies in this space, whether it's infrastructure, custody, Bitcoin mining, etc. And Vanguard is in each of these. So we should see the updated numbers. We're going to see this was reported in Q4. So we should see this, the next report and up-to-date numbers by May 15th. And these two companies do have direct and indirect exposure to the crypto asset class via a variety of plays, index funds, ETFs, different fintechs like PayPal or The Block, which was formerly Square. They own Cash App and they have a built-in Bitcoin wallet, retail trading like Robinhood, hardware giants like AMD and Nvidia, mining companies, custody, infrastructure, all of it. So don't be fooled, institutions are already here. We also had this just announced. Fidelity launched a no-fee retirement plan for US adults to invest in Bitcoin. And I guarantee during any big future market moves, all of this is going to be marketed by these institutions like crazy. And there's a lot going on today. There's so much geopolitical uncertainty. I have a family friend that I saw like a month ago and we were chatting, and she's basically retired in her 60s, and she's looking to invest a little bit with what she has with her current custodian. So she's been considering the Bitcoin SPY ETF, just with her current funds. I believe she has some funds in money market accounts. But even she is pretty scared right now in this geopolitical uncertainty. So we're going to find out long term, is Bitcoin truly a hedge? As an investor, you always take on risk, you either get punished or rewarded, but I believe in the crypto asset class long term, if not significantly more than the bonds market and just global debt growing and growing more and more each year as the debasement of currency gets worse. Long term, Bitcoin has always performed. And there are going to be a lot more newer investors from traditional finance, retired people that want to have a little exposure in the crypto asset class. Maybe they do 5% or even 10% of their portfolio. And the craziest part is if we continue to get another hype cycle, which we historically have seen every 3 to 5 years, as we shared in the charts earlier, prices going up create investor trust and excitement, and we get another big bubble. So we know these cycles exist. The more I look at it, I understand utility, but the asset class is not even regulated yet, so we're not even at the point of utility, let alone utility at scale driving prices. As far as I'm concerned, we witness liquidity cycles. Some are similar, some are different, but liquidity enters the market, it drives up risk on assets like crypto, and then they start withdrawing liquidity, and it all ends once again in its multiple bubbles, creating higher highs. We're referring to the total crypto market cap. Alright, next up, I saw that Kraken shared that the Ripple US dollar is now available for trading. We have Ripple the company sharing today that the Ripple US dollar is nearing a $250 million market cap, with over $10 billion in trading volume right there. So let's refresh and check out the Ripple US dollar, at least on CoinMarketCap. You can also check CoinGecko, but we can see this reported market cap is $293 million. And I believe since the last time we looked at the Ripple US dollar and XRP scan, the issued token supply is a lot higher at 94 million. And I go over this every couple months. We can see the stablecoin category on CoinGecko. So we have Tether over 144 billion. We have USDC over 60 billion. And as we scroll down past PayPal, Pax Gold, we also have the Ondo US dollar yield. We see Ripple US dollar is climbing through the ranks. It's also above the Eurocoin EURC that was issued by Circle and regulated by Mika. So don't quote me on this. I actually forgot. I think it was a video we did in the past 3 weeks. I thought this supply was like over 40 million. And now it shows 94 million, so definitely a big increase. And here's a screenshot from a video I did back in January on RWA.xyz looking at the total dollar amount of tokenized RWAs on chain. So that was $16.82 billion. Looking at today, we can see we are definitely up, approaching $20 billion. Now when we look at the XRP ledger, we have the RWA value. This isn't changed yet. And if we scroll down, we can see Archax, the Ripple US dollar, and Open Eden. I believe this value should increase over the next month, but we're going to keep tabs. So please correct me if I'm wrong, but on XRP scan, we saw over $90 million, and I felt like a month ago it was showing 44 million. So I believe that this should report over 90 million in the future, bumping a lot of this value up. So basically, the Ripple US dollar is on the road to surpassing $1 billion in market cap. The higher its market cap is, the more trading volume there is, the better it is also for XRP, since XRP is the native currency on the XRPL, used for fees. So the higher the Ripple US dollar goes in terms of market cap, the better, the more liquid it is, the better. That opens the doors for a bunch of cool applications. For RWAs, DeFi, payments, you name it. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to smash the like button and let me know your thoughts down below. You can find all links to my crypto resources, including tools for charting, trading bots, wallets, portfolio trackers, and exclusive discounts right in my link tree in the video description. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.